Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dreadcast. I am your host, Dreadnought X. With me, as always, the man, the myth, the sour monkey, Jovia. On tonight's episode, we chat epic failures, modding video games, creating video games, and the return of the cutest reindeer, Tony Chopper, in our One Piece anime talk. Episode 17 starts right now.
Imprisoned for 10,000 years. Banished from my own homeland. And now you dare enter my realm. You are not prepared. Prepared!
Yo.
Hey man, what's going on?
Not much. What's going on, dude?
Not too much. Just enjoying Saturday evening, you know?
Hell yeah.
Nice.
What's
What's going on your neck of the woods?
Same here, man. Just chilling out, enjoying a drink.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What are we imbibing this evening?
Right now it's just some vodka.
Just vodka?
Yeah.
Just straight vodka?
No, it's some type of a little bit of a mix.
Oh.
I couldn't tell you what's in the mix, but it's some kind of mix.
Okay.
I have no clue what's in this thing. It's good though.
Did you make it yourself?
No, it's just from the liquor store.
Oh.
Some
Okay.
1 liter bottle of some type of vodka drink.
You bought a pre-mixed something rather.
Yeah, something like that.
All right.
But it's good. I'm on my second one, so.
Okay.
What about you?
Deal.
What are you drinking over there? Anything?
I am drinking some water.
Water, nice.
Yeah.
I love me some water.
Cool and refreshing.
I can't drink anything unless it's cold.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's nice and cold. But I did my drinking last night for the shit show.
Oh yeah.
Man, I got this stuff. So I'm trying to cut down on my drinking personally, and
Right.
so my own personal rule right now is, Friday night shit show. That's the time to crack open a beer. So I
Right.
do,
Right.
and I'll go out, and at some point during the week I'll usually go out now and find something I haven't had before. So this week I bought it's, it's called Sour Monkey. It's like a spin-off of another ale that company does called Golden Monkey.
Okay.
But this is Sour Monkey, and I figured, it's sour, right? It says that it's going to be sour. It's not going to be that big of a deal, right?
Right.
Like it's I thought it was just like a cool label, and I was like, they just called it Sour Monkey because they're going with Golden Monkey. Sour Monkey makes sense, right?
Right.
No, this stuff was sour as shit. Holy crap! So I'm drinking it, and we're doing Jackbox, and I take a swig of this stuff, and I can only imagine what my face must have looked like on stream because
all puckered up.
Yeah, I got the puckered face going on, and I drank this stuff all night, and I was talking to my wife about it this morning, and Mrs. Jovia walks over and she takes a look at one of the dead soldier bottles, right?
Yeah, and
she's looking on the back of it. She's like, "How much of this did you have?" I'm like, "Well, I finished off the 6-pack." She's like, "What? This is 9.5% alcohol. It's twice as much as it." Yeah. And I'm like, no wonder I woke up with a freaking headache this morning, man.
Nice. That sounds nice.
I never realized it. And then I'm looking at the bottle, and it's got not warnings, but it's very clearly labeled as something that's supposed to be very sour. So I'm like, holy crap, man.
And what's it called again?
It's called Sour Monkey.
Sour Monkey.
Sour Monkey.
I have to keep an eye out for that.
You know what you need to do? I don't recommend buying a 6-pack of this stuff to drink.
Yeah.
It was good. But go to one of those places where you can assemble your own 6.
Right. Pick your own 6-pack cans.
Yeah. And you're gonna need at most maybe 1 or 2 of these.
Yeah.
Tops.
Is the label with the eye in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
got an eye
Okay,
in the middle.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's got green writing on it and some purple. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, it was good. It was it was hilarious though, because I would take a swig of it last night and just every time I'm like, oh god, this is awful. It was good.
I know sometimes I go to the liquor store and I'll go to buy my wife some drinks, and I'll usually do that. I'll pick out a can of this, a can of that, whatever kind of looks interesting.
Yeah.
And one of the times I was there, I seen this can. It was all crazy writing on it, and the only words I could pick up from the can, it said "juicy ass." I was like, I look at the label, and it's called Flying Monkeys Juicy Ass.
Nice.
That's the name of this. That's the name of this beer.
That sounds amazing.
I was like, sweet, I'll pick up one of these.
Did you drink it?
No, I didn't drink it. No, I can't stand beer.
Oh, you don't do beer? Okay.
I can't smell beer. I can't taste beer. It's disgusting.
Oh, okay.
So, but I just buy it for my wife.
Right. Okay.
I'll stick to the liquor.
Yeah, see, it's reversed in my household. My wife is the liquor drinker.
Yeah.
She's partial to Johnny Walker.
Right.
And I'm the beer drinker. So yeah, she's not a big beer drinker. She'll taste mine every now and then. She's like, ugh, still just beer.
Oh, it's gross.
Yeah, she doesn't like it. She doesn't like it.
I mean, most people who drink beer would try whiskey on its own too. Would think the same thing sometimes. So
I used to drink hard liquor back when I was, the underage drinker.
Yeah.
But for my 21st birthday, my friends took me out to a bar and basically bought me one of everything. And I swear I probably had some mild or even moderate form of alcohol poisoning the next day.
I bet.
I just sat in a chair and shivered for 3 or 4 days. It was bad. Oh, yeah. It was bad. And to this day, I can't be around a strong liquor smell.
Right.
Can't do it. It was wow. Oh man.
Yeah, see, for the most part, I usually don't enjoy drinking at home. Mostly if I want to go drinking, it's I need to be at a bar, or I need to be out somewhere.
Yeah.
I can't. I never found a just enjoyment out of just sitting at home drinking. Because when I drink, I like to go and get drunk. So
I used to frequent a bar. I used to be a regular at a bar in the local area.
Yeah.
You know, back before I met Mrs. Jovi
Right.
and everything. Actually, we met
in a bar.
yeah, we met at the bar. Well, we met through different circumstances, but I
Right.
invited her to come and join me at the bar.
Right.
Around I think it was around Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
Christmas, New Year's time frame, the holidays. So yeah, but that was the first time we actually met in person. Was that?
Cool. So what's how's your gaming been like this week?
You know, I was so busy I didn't actually stream all that much this week.
Right.
Work and all that sort of had to take priority. But on the side, I was last week I was dabbling in Skyrim a little bit. Skyrim, I never finished Skyrim.
Right.
I played the hell out of it after it first. The story is always the same with me, right? Because I'll go and buy a game at release, and I'll play the shit out of it, and then I'll put it down, and I'll never come back to it. Like Witcher 3 is like that for me. Like I never finished Witcher 3. I've never seen any of the DLC on that, and I really want to. Red Dead Redemption 2. The bigger games. Like
right.
I'll buy them, I'll play them, and then I'm
fall off, right?
And then, I fall off. Like the next game comes out,
right?
Right. On to the next thing. So Skyrim was one of those games for me. I played the shit out of it when it first released. And I had been watching something that made me want to play Skyrim again. So I grabbed Skyrim out of the pile, and I started. I played it for a couple of minutes, and I'm like, man, this game did not age like as well as it probably should have. So I started slapping mods onto it, and probably about 80 mods later. It looks amazing. It looks amazing. It crashes every now and then. But
what? How could it do that for mods?
I know. It's crazy. But it looks amazing. It plays amazing. I have these followers that make like super snarky comments at me. It's kind of a crazier playthrough. That sounds cool. A lot of fun. Hold on now.
Okay, go ahead.
So because I got into Skyrim, I'm like, holy shit, can I do the same thing to Fallout 4?
Fuck yeah.
So I did. So my project over the last couple of days is to see just how far I can take Fallout 4. Like, can I make it look like?
Can you make it good?
Yeah, can I make it good? No, I mean Fallout 4 is a good game, but can I make it like really pop?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Fallout 76 there for a second.
Oh no, Fallout. No, I'm not.
No amount of mods can make that good.
No. Well, you'll get banned.
As soon as you slap your first mod on there, you're done. You're out. Get out of here.
So Fallout 4, I've been playing with it, dude. I think I might stream a little Fallout 4 this week.
Much better.
Oh my god, it looks so good.
Okay,
it looks so good.
Give me like a rundown of like maybe a couple mods per game that is helping you out. Like mostly just textures and quality of life stuff, or
for me, yeah, textures and quality of life stuff. Skyrim, I added on Skyrim has that survival mode now. Although I think you actually have to pay money for that.
Oh, really?
You can add mods in like Frostfall and Campfire that will make your playthrough a lot, I would say, harder.
Right.
But the cool thing about it is the thing I like about the modding community is that there's a whole modding community based on immersion, like your immersion in the game, like audio cues, visual cues, those kinds of things.
Right.
They actually minimize the HUD, which I have done that. Like the HUD only appears for me in Skyrim when I actually need it.
Right, like in combat or something.
Like in combat.
That's
Otherwise, the screen is like completely clean.
That's cool.
So and which is nice because I've slapped a bunch of visual mods on it, and the textures just look so much better now too. So I think that's kind of the direction that I was heading with Skyrim. Fallout 4, same sort of mentality, right? I'm intrigued by the survival mode that's already in the game, like for free. It just like
Right.
patched it in.
Yep.
I'm intrigued by that. I've played a couple of maybe an hour or two of that, and it's freaking hard as hell. But there are some mods that help. Like there are things in Fallout 4 that don't make sense in survival. So in survival, you have to drink water. You have to stay hydrated.
Right.
It makes sense, right? But if you fill up, so the scenario is this: you find a bottle out there in the wasteland, like an empty Nuka-Cola bottle.
Yep.
So it makes sense you can go and fill it up. So you go and fill it up, and then you just have a water bottle, and then you drink it, but the bottle itself is now gone.
Oh, you don't keep your bottle. You can't keep refilling it.
Bottle. Where the hell does the bottle go? Right. So I got a mod that lets you
keep the bottle.
It lets you keep the bottle, and you can make new bottles out of scrap glass.
That's cool.
And I got an additional mod that lets you actually wear a canteen on your belt.
Oh, I was going to say, now you get to wear the bottle on your head, like a Homer Simpson cap.
I'm sure there's a mod for that, dude.
Slap two of those on your head, you'll be set.
Yeah. I modded in some new audio effects, some very, very snappy 4K textures. I mean, it looks really good. It looks really good. The thing I'm fighting right now is puddle reflections, which has been a problem in the game for a while, and I think once I fix that, then I'm good to go.
And what about the water? Like normally the water's toxic, so are you able to just fill it up anywhere? Do you have to purify it first?
So if you build like a pump in your settlements, that's fresh water.
Okay, you can't just go to the lake and grab some radiated water.
Well, you can do that
unless you have a perk.
Do that, and then you have to go to a cooking station and like boil the water,
fix it up.
Yeah, and the canteen mod actually adds in like refilling stations and stuff all throughout the wasteland and for your settlements as well. Another speaking of settlements in Fallout 4, so one of the mods that I got, it's called Sim Settlements, and there's a whole bunch of mods that go along with this, but basically you can turn your settlements into a city, like a living and breathing city.
Right.
You can assign a manager to it. They will build on their own. They will they'll build their own defenses. They'll build their own everything.
Oh, nice.
And the guy that made this, he started it a couple of years ago, and it looks it works really, really well, but it's progressed to the point now where he's got it to where you can actually play as the Raiders, and you can build up your own army, and it's more like a takeover of the wasteland of Boston instead of following along the main quest with the Minutemen.
Yeah,
you can actually be a raider. And what he's done is he's randomized all the other, like when you start a new game, all the other settlements are randomized. You can set them up to be their own cities as well, and they will grow and progress throughout the game as you do as a character, and then you have to take them over, and you can enslave people. You can, it's a pretty wild mod. But yeah, it totally, like that one thing can change your entire playthrough of Fallout. I'm not doing that for my first time. I think maybe I'll leave that for another playthrough one day. But yeah, and it's actually you can modify that mod with other things that the community have made, where you can rather than a raider, you can be like Brotherhood of Steel and take over Boston for the Brotherhood of Steel.
That's pretty cool.
Whatever other faction, or even create your own faction if you want.
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, it's crazy the amount of changes you can make to those games with mods.
Oh yeah,
it's insane.
You can make them completely unrecognizable, and it's kind of cool actually if you find the right mods.
Like for both of those, I used the carry weight mod, so just so I could carry as much as I want without being encumbered.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I always found that such a pain in the ass.
So for me, like I like to, if I'm gonna play a long RPG, I like it to be a bit right. So rather than finding a mod that lets me carry as much as I want, I prefer to to do something similar, but in a lore friendly way. For instance, there's a mod where you can get like pack Brahmin, like the pack,
Right.
not horses, but the cows, basically.
Yeah.
And you can have them follow you around. In essence, basically, they just give you more carry weight. But the cool thing about that is you can actually pile all your stuff onto this Brahmin and actually send it back to the settlement.
Right.
And it'll drop all your shit back off, and then it'll come back to you wherever you're at. So it's like a little runner.
Right. So if you have the follower, you can already do that, right? Not send him back, but he already holds some of your stuff for you.
Yeah,
right?
you can pile some of your stuff onto him, but if you're out in the middle of the wasteland, it's especially useful in survival mode, right? Because in survival mode, there's no fast travel.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have this Brahmin with you, or 2 or 3, you can actually have, I think, up to 4. You can have you have all these cows following you around with your shit on their backs. You can say, okay, well, I'm done loading you up. Just drop it off at the nearest settlement.
Now, how does that work for your stealth?
Well, you can tell them to wait.
Tell them to be quiet.
You tell them to wait. Yeah, say just wait here.
Yeah.
And if you don't come back for them, then they go back to the settlement.
They leave with all your stuff.
I don't know what happens. Yeah, they leave with all your stuff.
So when you go into a dungeon, do they follow you?
I don't know. I haven't actually played around with that mod. I don't have it installed, but it was.
I'm picturing you going through like the steel factory earlier on, and you've got like 4 ramen just chasing you around this steel factory.
Right. All of my pack cows, so that I can.
It's like
so that I can take everything off of your.
It's hard enough getting one person to go around those hallways without getting stuck on stuff, and now you're having 4 fat cows chase you around everywhere.
Yeah, totally immersive, right? Totally immersive.
The turrets turrets are killing your cows. Then you have to get like 4 cows worth of stuff off of them and transfer somewhere.
That's the thing. They can die. That's the thing. They can die.
That sounds like a headache. That sounds like a headache.
Oh yeah, it is. There's other ways to do it. There's like cargo bots and
right.
And things that you can get, but that are it's, and I say cargo bots with like air quotes because they're invisible because they use stealth boys. You never see them, but it's a way to craft a more space, or like something as simple as a backpack. I've got a backpack mod, so yeah. I mean, that's the obvious choice. Use a backpack. Right.
Now, what about?
I mean, it makes sense.
What about?
I not have a backpack?
What about the most important mods for Skyrim? Are you rocking those 2 or 3 mods that are must-haves?
Which? Well, let me pull it up here.
Everybody's thinking it. We're all thinking it. Just waiting for you to mention it.
Let me see. I've got a quality world map, alternate start.
No.
Animalica, which adds a bunch of new animals.
No, it's not what we're all thinking.
Are you thinking CBBE? I am not. I am not using any not safe for work.
I have no clue what that is. It sounds very wrong. I'm thinking of the one that turns your dragons into Thomas the Train.
Oh no, I'm not using that.
Or the one that gives him the Macho Man sound effects when he shows up.
Oh, I have seen that one. No, of course not. I'm not using those. But I do have one that adds a whole bunch of different dragons and randomization.
Yeah.
So. No, I'm not using any of those weird ones.
Yeah, there's a video on YouTube, and it's pretty much just seeing how messed up and how glitchy you can get the game just by piling on as many add-ons as you can.
Oh yeah,
and the dragon rolls in, and it's all like Thomas the Train zipping around the sky and
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yelling out, "Oh yeah!" That's quite funny.
I have seen a mod that does this similar thing in Fallout 4 for the Death Claws.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, come on, dude! Like the Kool-Aid Man sound coming through.
Oh, is that what it does?
But yeah, there's a bunch of crazy stuff out there.
Yeah,
some of them are very silly. Some of them are actually very serious. These modders, they put a lot of work into this stuff. So.
Oh man, it's intense. With like also like just with the weight carrying stuff. I used to have one for Skyrim where it would give you your own cabin. So I had like this cabin on the lake.
Yeah.
So I could like fast travel to it, and it was like had like a fire pit in the backyard. It had like a hot tub where you could like cleanse all your stuff. It had bookshelves where I could put stuff on. Yeah, it was insane.
You gotta have a hot tub when you're in Dovahkiin, man.
Yeah. That was pretty dope.
That's awesome. That is pretty awesome. But you know, one of the things they did add in with DLC is, you know, Hearthfire, where you can build your own settlement, sort of, in Skyrim.
For Skyrim, right?
Yeah, I never dabbled in stuff because I played it right after it came out.
Yeah,
Hearthfire came out like a year afterwards or so.
Yeah, same here.
I never tried it. It looks like a hell of a lot of fun. It might just be a severe grind. I don't know.
Yeah, like, from what I saw, yeah, it's like you gotta talk to somebody, you get like a piece of land or a building, and then you gotta like buy furniture and all kinds of stuff for it, right?
Yeah. That's kind of what I've seen on it. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll get there. Maybe I won't. Who knows? Probably won't.
Yeah, but I mean, it's cool to go back to it and add all those kind of layers on top of it to kind of make it fresh again, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I enjoyed Skyrim when it came out. I enjoyed Fallout 4 when it came out. But you know, the modding community now is several years old for both of these games. Well, Skyrim almost a decade, right?
Jeez.
Yeah, and it's, you know, the types of things that the community has been able to come up with. I would say arguably probably makes it a better game now than it ever was. So it depends on how true to the game you want to stay, or if you don't want to stay true to the game, or the intention of the designers, then you can do that too.
Right.
I mean, it's your game.
Yeah, so, it just totally leaves everything up to you. Like, you can go off the rails as much as you want, or you can just kind of bump up the quality of life to make the main game good.
Which I appreciate. I appreciate that, because it's a product that we all purchased. It's ours. We can do with it as we please. A lot of games that are coming out these days aren't really like that. Like games as a service, like I don't know. A lot of them are all multiplayer now. Right. Fallout 76 being the primary example if we're talking about Skyrim and Fallout 4. I mean, there's no modding for that game. And if you wish that something looked a little bit better, or if there's a little bug, you know, because Bethesda never introduces bugs into their games. But if there were a bug that could be fixed by the community, Fallout 76, that's not an option.
Now, what about add-ons? Like, is there not even like any ability to add on? Like I'm sure.
76?
Yeah, like I'm sure when you play Elder Scrolls Online, because you know when you play WoW Online, you can download add-ons from like the Curse client, right?
It's my understanding. So yeah, you can. For Elder Scrolls Online, you can.
Right, whether it's changing up your UI or helping you with like this or that, right?
Right. But I don't know if they are allowing that for Fallout 76. Okay. Because I know Elder Scrolls Online, I believe, was built a lot like World of Warcraft, right? Where they wanted people to be able to make their own HUDs.
Right.
All that stuff. That's totally cool with those games. With Fallout 76, I don't think that they've allowed that at all.
Right.
I think what's killing everybody is that Fallout 76 is basically online Fallout 4, except it's not, kind of. I mean, it's like a weird online version of Fallout 4. Meaning the files and the file structures and the game engine that is running this is all basically the same. So the modders out there know how to do it. They already know. Like, in fact, I bet you most of the Fallout 4 mods could probably be tweaked in some way to probably be made available for Fallout 76.
Right.
Bethesda's not going to let that happen.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same game. It's the same engine. It's the same file structure. It's the same, way to do.
They obviously have a specific outlook for the game, though, that they want to keep to, right? So,
I'm sure that they do. I'm sure that they do. Now, whether people actually agree with that outlook or not is a different story.
That's a whole different story. Obviously, people don't agree with what they've been doing. So,
Right. Right. What about yourself, man? What have you been working on?
Oh man, I've been playing nothing this week except for playing a little bit of Borderlands. Like always, playing a tiny bit of WoW last night. A little bit of
Oh, okay.
Hearthstone, trying to get my rank back down. But mostly, it's just been RPG Maker, man. I've been kind of puttering away at this game I've been making, and
What,
kind of
what
like, huh?
are you? So you've gotten pretty serious into this thing, or
Yeah,
what?
well, like I've been writing down like actors and trying to come up with classes, and
Yeah.
certain classes have different buffs attached to them, and then I'm trying to like get all the items into the game, like for all the vendors, and having like the swords and the weapons and the properties, and oh, you start off here in this town, we'll have like wooden swords, and then when you get to like a later town, they'll have steel swords, or just trying to come up with different stuff, and it's just, oh man, it's like you could sit there for 2 hours and just add weapons into the game. Like it's just, there's so much details that you have to go into for like making a simple game. It's mind blowing.
Is it? Are you finding that it gets easier as you get some experience under your belt, or is it just there's so many little details that have to be accounted for that it really does take that much time?
Yeah, like I went through like a whole tutorial series on YouTube, just kind of getting familiar with the game. They also have a tutorial series like built into the game too, but I kind of been following this series on YouTube, and yeah, by the end of it, it's like I knew how to make my own characters and my own weapons and properties and set up battles, and kind of taught me how to make an intro scene, and so I have like an intro scene and I can import my own music and just all that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
it's just that things are easier now. Like I can do those things. It's just that now I have to try and get the creative juices flowing and come up with the story and the characters and the flow, and you know, making these maps from scratch. It's just a big task.
Well, there's a lot that goes into making an
Oh,
RPG.
I know. I was just going to like putter around and stuff, and then people are like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to play this. I can't wait to play this." And I'm like, "Oh man, it's like I can give you a playable version of this game, but all you're going to be able to do is go to the first town and like click on a barrel and get a potion." It's like, and that took me 5 hours to do. It's like,
Oh, jeez.
yeah, it's just
Well,
it's crazy.
But that's actually really cool, though. I mean, are you following like a design that you have in mind? Do you have a story in mind, or is this just kind of all happening
It is.
as it happens?
I wish I was smart enough to have a story in mind,
Okay.
but I'm kind of just like, as I'm meeting people in real life and like hanging out with people on Twitch and just meeting people at Discord, I'm incorporating them into this story, but yet I don't know the story yet.
Okay.
So I'm like adding these people into the game and like trying to come up with, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna put this person here and this person's gonna be a villain, but I don't know the main story yet. It's like the main parts of the game that you should have figured out, I have no clue about.
Okay.
Like I have a town, I have a few people in it. I've decorated like the inn. There's a beer store there, weapon shop.
okay.
I've got the intro made. I've got my party set. I've got like a thing that's gonna happen where, with this later on in the game, this guy's son's gonna come back to the future, kind of like Terminator, and I've got like all these ideas, but I don't have the story to get there, so
Okay.
it's a work in progress. It's just,
Interesting.
man, it's like I could see myself having no job and just spending hundreds of hours working on this, because there's just so much there to work with.
Well, I know there have been some successful games developed through RPG Maker. Like you can find some on Steam.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I mean, you literally could like quit your job and
Yeah.
do this. If that's what you
But
want
see,
to
like
do.
the game I have in mind is like, I'm planning on putting like, like explicit language in here, and like, plus you can
Yeah.
import your own music. So like, I plan on having like a lot of like, like licensed music.
This isn't for general distribution, is what you're saying,
Right. Like I plan on making this and then distributing it to like friends, right?
With your friends as a creative work, and that's it.
Right. Hey, take this game, spend like an hour or two and play through it, laugh, have fun with it. Right, exactly. It's not for selling. It's just kind of like a hobby, right?
Right. Yeah. No, I didn't think
Yeah.
you were gonna be selling it.
No.
But yeah, that's cool though.
Like
That's really cool.
the main three characters, they've all said, "Oh, we'll do all the voice acting. Just throw us our lines." So I have them kind of willing to like do their lines. So I'm gonna like
built-in voice actors and everything.
right. So I'm thinking about like getting them to record a few lines and adding it to at least those characters, and just to make things a bit more. And like if you walk in,
really gonna be good.
if you walk
Really
in,
gonna be good.
if you walk,
when you give them their lines,
yeah,
and they come back and they say, "I would never say this."
but they would, man. It's like I'm not a big fan of the the C word. We know what the C word is, right?
Everybody knows, yeah.
But these guys are like, they drop the C word like it's candy.
Really?
So yeah, they do. I don't know if they're Australian. I don't know if it's something like just something normal over there, but they're like really loose with this word. And so like couple of the main characters like walking into a bar and they're like dropping this thing in the game. And I'm like, they're all gonna get it. Like they're all gonna get it. It's just you're gonna be reading this thing. And it's gonna be like, whoa, the language here is pretty.
Wow. Okay. So. What kind of people are you hanging out with?
I don't know, man. These are some good people, man. There's some good people. It's just their language is a little loose,
a little rough around the edges.
Yeah.
Well, Australia. So, I mean,
Hey,
I mean, it makes perfect sense that a Canadian would be hanging out with an Australian.
Why is that?
I don't know. It just makes sense.
Oh, I thought you had a good point there.
No, I don't have a good. No,
okay.
There's no point to that.
I thought you were gonna say we're like distant cousins or something.
Yeah, distant cousins. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Who are you a distant cousin from? France?
Sure. Yeah, France.
Close enough. Close enough.
Well, supposedly some of my family did come from France, so yeah, sure.
There you go. Yeah, so that's how my game has been this week. It hasn't been too heavy. I've been just kind of messing around with that kind of. Yeah, it's not work. It's fun. Like, I just throw on Spotify and just chill out, and it's just hard to come up with the story part of it. Like, I'm having fun doing all the stuff into the game. Just I'm having a hard time coming up with like the main story.
Right.
Or like
that's probably gonna be the hard part.
Yeah, for sure. And like you have to incorporate like, hey, these guys are gonna get to this place at level 6, so you have to worry about like how much XP the mobs are giving you, and if you're gonna be the right level to take on, the right enemies at this place, and what they're dropping, and just all that stuff. Like it's so much.
You're talking about game balance issues, man.
I know, that's what I mean. Like
there's whole theories based.
I know. So it's like
game leveling and balancing and
like I'm having this game only be. It's probably going to end up being like not very long, but
right.
I don't want somebody to spend 45 minutes playing it, and then by the time they get to like the first boss, they're level 8, and the boss is like level 22. Just getting, the fuck, this is not working.
Are you adding in like side quests and stuff too? You do some side quests.
Dude, I can't even think of the main quest so far. It's like,
well, okay, yeah, good point. I was just,
yeah.
The more you add in, the more difficult it gets,
right,
to balance that stuff out.
Yeah.
Like if you have multiple classes of characters, you have to think of all of their different abilities and how they react with each other, as well as the environment.
Oh, I know, it's like
it's crazy.
There's class traits, there's weapon traits, there's hero traits, there's like parameters and buffs and stats, and it's like, oh, I just want to make people laugh. It's like I just want to pop people. I just want to have people play it for 2 minutes and be like, "Oh my god, that's funny," and just move on to the next thing. Not worry about how much XP you're getting.
But that's why we see game developers put out patches all the time and they'll say, okay, this weapon has been nerfed or this weapon has been boosted or,
right,
or whatever. You know, they constantly struggle. I mean, the professionals struggle with this stuff all
Right.
the time. So
Hey, it's like I'm not spending 70 or 100 hours a week on this or nothing. I mean,
right.
speaking of which,
Speaking of,
yeah, let's jump into the news, man.
right on. Sony released some details about the PS5.
Yeah, they had a big article there. They had a exclusive article with Wired, and
Right.
they released some PS5 details.
What did you think? I haven't actually read through the article. I haven't paid too much attention to this, but I've heard some claims that it's basically serious next gen hardware in this thing.
Yeah, like they're touting, it's going to be the next GPUs from like the Radeon's next family, and it's going to have like ray tracing or whatever it's called.
Yeah, the real time ray tracing.
Yeah,
That's what I heard.
it's going to be an SSD in there.
Yep, that's a big deal.
Right. I mean, a lot of people are saying, hey, how big of a hard drive are we going to get with this thing if it's an expensive SSD? So that's
Right.
kind of one thing to worry about, right? How much is this thing going to cost if you're putting an SSD in there? And I mean, if it's not 1 terabyte, we're going to be filling it up like crazy. And I mean, even at 1 terabyte, that only gives you what, 10 games? So
Yeah.
right at some point, right? So
Well, I know I got I've got a terabyte in my PS4 and
Yeah.
it fills up pretty quickly, and that's with current gen games.
Right.
If we're talking about next gen games and the assets that you need for high quality textures, high
Right.
quality audio, visual effects,
Oh,
that
for
kind
sure.
of thing. Yeah, it's gonna eat up some hard drive space. So I would say a terabyte's got to be a minimum.
oh,
the
for
PS5.
sure, yeah. And if not, we're looking at like a pretty penny for this thing overall. If they go any more than a terabyte, I would say.
Yeah. The other thing I would say is the nice thing about the PS4 is that the hard drive is upgradable. If you know what you're doing, and even if you don't, I mean, you can add a external hard drive to it, and that would work as well.
Right.
I am hoping that the PS5 goes the same route as that, because that was probably one of the best features that the PS4 had. Actually, was just that simple ability to upgrade the hard drive, the internal storage.
Yeah.
Was spot on.
Yeah, like I ended up pulling out my PS4 hard drive and putting in a terabyte, and then I still was end up filling it up, and I had to go and buy a 4 terabyte external that I have hooked up to mine. And it's like, sure, I haven't been able to fill that up, but still, just the ability to do so though is good.
Yeah, the ability to do that is good. I was thinking back to the PS4 launch, and Microsoft was stepping in with their Xbox One, which had issues of its own. But I think the PS4, if I remember correctly, the PS4 really took off mainly because it was the most affordable Blu-ray player on the market at that time.
Makes sense.
Which, well, I mean, and I'm just wondering how much of a boost that gave the PS4, because Sony had sort of a built-in
base, right?
Yeah, I mean, the PS4 was accessible to more homes because of that Blu-ray player, because people were buying it simply to watch Blu-rays,
Right.
Which now has already come and gone, basically.
Yeah, no
as
doubt.
far as I'm concerned. But the PS5, I mean, I'm wondering how they're going to get it in homes at a premium.
Yeah.
What I would imagine will be a premium price point.
Right. That's
So
like
that's something to watch.
It's like, are they going to go with a disc drive? I mean, there's rumors out there now that, or the not rumors, but the Xbox is coming out with a discless version of the Xbox One, right?
I can believe it.
Yeah.
The most recent PS4 that I've purchased, because I have two of them. The most recent one that I've purchased, I've never had in the disc drive.
Right.
So I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I've got a laptop that doesn't have a CD, like a DVD-ROM or CD-ROM in it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not. My stuff isn't physical anymore.
These days you don't need to. It's true.
Right. As long as I can boot off a USB, I'm good to go.
Yeah. Now, other than the SSD, they're saying, which means it's going to affect the load times of these games. So it's like they were citing, if you fast travel in Spider-Man right now on a PS4, it would take you approximately 15 seconds. But now with their technology and with their new speed, it's going to take that same fast travel will take you 0.8 seconds.
Nice.
So
I like that.
Can all hope that the load times of certain games will be almost non-existent. I'm looking at you, Witcher 3.
Yeah, The Witcher 3 has some hellacious load times.
Some games, man, it's
is
like...
there going to be... I still haven't read the article. Is it... have they talked about backwards compatibility at all?
So they've put it out there that it's for sure going to have PS4.
Okay.
So
that's good news.
Yep. So people that have PS4 are definitely okay with that. There is rumors out there, deep rumors, that this would be the time that they're going to go back and like PS1, PS2, PS3. But that's just heavily rumored. So
those architectures are just so different than the PS4 or supposedly the PS5.
Right.
They're just so different. Like PS3 was just PS3. I don't know if people realize, but I mean, it was running on it was some weird IBM architecture. Like it was almost the same as like old mainframe systems, believe it or not. And I don't I don't know, man. That's hard because you actually have to get a good chipset in there. Like a totally separate chipset from the main thing. That's why PS4 was not backwards compatible with PS3.
Right, because you were missing that chipset from the PS3.
Right. I mean, if they can do that, I don't need PS1 and PS2 backwards compatibility, to be honest. PS3 is a nice to have. PS4 is a must have.
Right.
That's for me. I'm sure that there's some people that will say, "Oh no, I've got my PS1 from back in the day, and it just broke, so I have to have something." Yeah.
Right. Like I have nothing kicking around for PS1. Now I do have some discs lying around from PS2. Some Burnout, some Tony Hawk that my wife used to have when we met.
Right.
So
I think I might have a couple of discs for the PS2 as well, but I would have to go and rummage through my stuff box to really know for sure.
But now I don't have a PS2 console because I have a PS3 with backwards compatibility.
Right. Oh, so you still got your...
I've got the fat one.
That fat one?
Yeah, I got the OG fat one, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's still working. It's still kicking around. We just unplugged it not too long ago. And so, I mean, I've got digital purchase on the PS3. So, if they went back and at least backwards compatible to 3, that would be cool. Because, I mean, before then, there was no digital purchases, right? So,
right.
But at least on the PS3, I have a bunch of stuff digital that I could carry over, which would be cool.
That would be kind of cool. I don't know. I mean, they've stopped giving away games for the PS3 and the PS Vita.
Yeah, for PlayStation Plus.
PlayStation Plus. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that is good news or bad news, but it does seem a little bit related, slightly.
I mean, hey, I think most of us are just happy that the PS4 backwards compatibility is there, right? At least these days.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's where I'm at. Like, don't make me buy a second console like I had to with when we were making the change from PS3 to PS4.
Right.
Don't make me have two of the basically the same console hooked up at the same. I don't want it. I don't want that.
Please don't make Jovia buy Skyrim and Fallout 4 for the 10th time, please.
Oh, they probably will. It'll probably come out for the PS5. I mean, come on. There's a version of Skyrim out for the Alexa.
It's a ray tracing version of the Skyrim. Get it now. The water puddles look great.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think that game needs ray tracing.
So getting back to the Xbox there, like they came out. It's funny because it's Xbox One S, all digital version. but when you spell it out, it's Xbox sad version. So it's like, yeah. So if you put the letters together, it's Xbox One S, all digital AD, right? So SAD. So it's the Xbox One sad version.
Yeah, the X-Bone.
So
X-Bone.
but people are kind of like put off already because it's like you're getting rid of the disk drive, right? Which I'm fine with because, like you said, it's like when I had my Xbox for a year, I literally only bought one game, and that was Rainbow Six because it was on sale. Like I'm digital with everything I have. So I'm fine with getting rid of the disk drive, but it's like they're coming out with this thing and it's like $250. Now you can go to the store and pick up a Xbox One S in a bundle for $250. Sometimes even cheaper on holidays.
So this thing is more expensive, but with less hardware.
Right, like you're not getting the drive, and you're getting the same stuff. Plus the games they have packed in are on Game Pass. So it's it's. I'm fine with you coming out with an all digital version, but I mean, if you should have like dropped it at like 150 or something, and people who didn't have one would be, gobbling this thing up, right?
It may stay at that price point for a little while, but I would expect it to drop pretty significantly fairly quickly. They're probably using it to try to on ramp some new customers and say,
right.
Here's the new Xbox. Don't buy that old one. Buy the new one.
Right. Like maybe they want to see like what kind of people take to this before they announce their new console, right?
Right.
Which will be full of streaming.
Assuming they want to do that, assuming they're coming out with a new console, they may. There were rumors when the Xbox One was first released that this was going to be like the console, and that they would continually sort of hardware refresh it over time.
Right.
But I don't know.
Right. And now the thought is they're going with like another step, right?
Right.
Like an Xbox 5, so.
We're gonna have to. We'll have to see what kind of cards they hold. They obviously haven't shown their hand yet.
No, I'm expecting some big things out of them for E3. With Sony not being there, it's the ball's in their court now. So. Yeah,
exactly. They need to pony up if they're going to.
Yeah,
we'll see.
And I would expect them to come out swinging. I would hope. Yeah,
and Sony has already said their piece. They're like, "Yeah, we have PS5 coming. That's it. I've got nothing else to tell you for E3."
Yeah.
So we're not doing it. Well, do you know how much it cost them to do that? I mean, granted, for a company like Sony, it's pennies, but
right.
Still, I mean, why go through that when you're just going to get a bunch of bad press saying, "Oh, well, everything they said was under and we are PS5." So,
right.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that decision.
Sure
I actually kind of respect it.
I'm sure those panels aren't cheap.
No, they're not. Well, they do a whole like half a day session with all the press and everything.
For sure. It's like they have the big panel, and they have come back, check out the stuff they have afterwards, right? So
right, yeah, it's a whole thing. It's pretty wild. Well, shall we talk about Epic a little bit?
Yes, let's go Epic.
Epic has had a busy week. Epic has had a busy week. So a couple days ago, I was reading, and I was reading things, and up comes this article written by Polygon. It was an exclusive that they had done. They had basically started hearing that developers at Epic that work on Fortnite were spending an abnormally large amount of time in the office, which smells a lot like crunch time. So if anybody has been keeping up with the news, like crunch time is sort of a big thing in the developer industry right now, or in the game industry, developer crunch time. Like that, and that's basically like working long hours, typically at the end of your development cycle when you're trying to meet that last.
Right. You're trying to push it out, right?
Right. So Fortnite is a game that goes through. I guess it's a weekly patch cycle. I don't know. I don't play Fortnite.
Right.
But I know that they update all the time because it's
all the time.
My news.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always there.
Yeah.
So Polygon reached out. I think they did like 50 or so interviews with some anonymous Epic employees. And these employees were reporting that they were spending 50 to 70, sometimes 100-hour work weeks on a normal basis. And it gets worse, right? Like, it's not necessarily that they want to do this. It's that they kind of have to do this or they're just going to lose their job.
Right.
And it is expected, and complaints are basically slapped down by management, and it's bad situation. Polygon sort of did an email interview with Epic as well, so the Epic spokespeople, and they're not denying it. They're basically saying, yeah, well, we've got Fortnite, so we have to keep it fresh. We have to keep it relevant.
Right.
Employees are expected sometimes to work longer hours in order to make specific deadlines. We don't force them to do that, but of course, future employment is always based on quality and ability to work, right?
Right.
So, I mean, they're not saying, no, this doesn't happen. They're saying basically, yeah, this happens. And it's a thing. It's an interesting article. It's on Polygon. It was written a couple of days ago. And I mean, there's anecdotes there about like the customer service staff where like they were answering 3 or 4 tickets a day.
Right.
And then the next day they get like 3,000 tickets in when Fortnite starts blowing up. And the day after that, they have 50 new employees sitting there at the service desk that are completely untrained to try to help.
Try to deal with the workload, right?
Yeah. So I mean, Fortnite, everybody sees it as kind of a windfall for Epic, and it is in reality when it comes to the financial aspect of the game. But at the same time, for the employees that have to work, it's not necessarily a windfall. This basically turned their lives into a nightmare.
Right.
So, yeah,
like it talks a lot about like the working conditions and how you can't I can I won't go into details, but I mean I can relate about kind of like how things go at certain places, and but they're going on about not being able to bring certain things up to their employer and their supervisor for just being told to hey, do your work or you'll be replaced.
Right.
Put in the right amount of hours, or just making people feel like they're just a number, just a body, or you come do your work, and if you don't do it long enough or hard enough, hey, we can just find somebody else to replace you.
Right. If you can't do it, we'll find somebody that will.
But man, I gotta imagine that the people who are here and the people who are willing to do that job, those people must not be making minimum wage. I mean, these people have to be making some good money.
Oh yeah, they are.
Right?
They are. These are, make no mistake. I mean, the developers that work on games like Fortnite and even other games, there's different levels of experience and seniority, right? I mean, you've got intermediate, you don't really have interns working something like this.
Right.
You've got, intermediate to advanced personnel, senior personnel.
But I gotta imagine all these people that are putting in all these hours. And yes, it might not be the greatest work conditions, but man, you're also getting paid for those hours. You're not just working them and getting not paid.
Right. No, they're being compensated. Yeah.
No.
And nobody has accused Epic of not compensating them appropriately, but
now I'm not saying you should get treated like crap either. I mean,
yeah, I think there are some stories in there that are probably on the more, I don't know. You have to take things like this with a grain of salt. I mean, you don't know necessarily who exactly you're talking to.
Right.
Have beef with their management. Do they just not like Epic themselves, even though they're employed by them? There could be a number of things going on there. I expect that there's probably some embellishments, but it was pretty clear across the board. Everybody that Polygon had reached out to, it works on the Fortnite project, it has experienced an inordinate amount of time working on the game.
Right.
Because there's always a next patch. There's always a next milestone.
Right. And like they're saying, if something breaks, you can't just take that thing out and have a chance to fix it. You have to fix it right now. Plus, you have to be worrying about your next week's patch.
Right.
Like, things have these days with the fan base how they are and like how much they're down your throat when something goes wrong. It's like you have to be getting these things fixed like ASAP.
Yeah, and Fortnite is not necessarily known for its it has a tendency to be a little bit of a toxic community, a little bit, not as toxic as some others out there. Like this, we're not talking about Dota or League of Legends toxic, or even Counter-Strike. We're talking about, you know, it's moderately,
right,
I would say,
right,
you know. Plus, I think their biggest user group, their user demographic is mostly like kids, like younger,
probably
kids,
young teens, I would guess, right?
Yeah, and so as far as they know, their gun is broke, or you know, they.
I only got 10 kills this game. Come on.
Yeah, I only got 10 kills this game.
Something's wrong with my health.
Broken.
Yeah,
something must be broken. Let's call customer service and get that fixed.
Yeah,
you know, so these. That's all they care about.
Mm-hmm.
But that customer service agent has already talking to
35 other people in the past 10 minutes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. So hot on the heels of that, Tim Sweeney gets up. I don't know exactly what conference he was speaking to, but he was definitely speaking at a panel or giving a presentation of some sort. And he comes in. And he says, Tim Sweeney is the CEO of Epic,
right?
By the way, he's the CEO and founder of Epic. He gets up and he says, "So everybody is upset about our exclusivity deals with different developers out there,
right?
We will end that business practice as soon as Valve shares more revenue with the developers and publishers of these games." So, in my opinion, this is Tim Sweeney trying to turn the whole issue that we've talked about for a number of weeks now, turn the whole issue of exclusivity deals with Epic and the Epic Store and the Epic Launcher and all those issues around that. He's trying to turn it all on its head and say, we're the good guys here because we give the developers more money.
What they do, right?
Right.
That's how I took it too.
And I'm throwing the bullshit flag out on the field because there are things that are severely wrong with the Epic Store and Launcher and executable in terms of using files you should not have access to, or sending my personal information back to your servers when I didn't know about that.
Right.
You know, let's forget about that for a second and let's just talk about money to the developers. I mean, come on.
Let's forget the fact you gave my credit card number to people I didn't ask for.
Right. Let's forget about that.
I know, like, I read the article and at first I'm thinking, hey, good on you. You're trying to, like, not go after games and have them exclusives to your platform. Because, you know, people are obviously getting pissed off at Epic for, like, nabbing all these certain games that they wanted to go buy. They wanted to go buy on Steam,
right?
And
games that they had already bought on Steam,
right? And now they're having to, you know, buy somewhere else.
Right.
People not wanting to go to Epic to get their games.
Right.
But then it's like, and then I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you're making Steam look awful bad here. It's like, you're coming across like almost like the Xbox and the Sony does, about a little bit different. But Xbox is like, hey, you know, we're willing to do crossplay for everything. We're just waiting on Sony to, like, you know, flip the switch and we're good to go.
Right.
But I mean, if Xbox was in the lead for console sales, I'm not too sure they'd be so willing to flip that same switch if they were in Sony's shoes.
Right. Yeah. No, I think it's I think it's a classic misdirection play. I think it's classic when you really look at it. I mean, Tim Sweeney, he's got Fortnite. Love it or hate it, it's a financial wrecking ball out there right now for his company. And now he's got the Epic Store. He's been able to fund as many exclusivity deals as he probably wants to. And with all that data that he's gathering from the Steam files about my play style, now he knows. I expect that he's probably using, or not him specifically, but his teams are using that data, play data from Steam, to start cherry picking the different games to get exclusivity deals with in the future, if they haven't already done that. And I'm sure they have. I mean, look at their picks. Their picks of games to approach: Satisfactory, Division 2,
Borderlands,
Exodus. Yeah, those are all games he knew would be huge in the industry. Apart from the fact that it's obvious they were going to be all big,
right?
He probably had data to back that up when he made those offers to those developer and publisher,
right? For sure.
And the only way he gets that data is by stealing it from Valve, because those are all files that are located on your computer.
And is that is that like 100% fact?
We know that he's we know that the Epic Store is using files, or at one point was using files that were placed there by Steam for friend tracking, for usage tracking, all that stuff. So we know that they have that data.
Okay, so they have it for sure.
Yeah, we know.
Okay,
we know that they do. Whether that is still happening with their launcher or not, I'm not sure. But I know that it was happening at one. Way too much on that subject at this point.
Right.
But it was, I mean, there were downloads of network traffic that folks have analyzed, and it was happening. It was definitely happening. I mean, what else would you use that data for?
Well,
other than marketing?
Like, exactly. That's why you'd use it. If you got that kind of information lying around about fan base and their likes and dislikes and their play length and what they've been playing and their stuff like that. I mean, it's like when you've got a launcher and you're looking for games to come in, you know exactly which type of games and which type of games are going to be popular and which are going to make you money.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. I mean, some of this data you could scrape off the web anyways. You can always go to steamdb.io, I think it is, and you can look up at the most played games today, yesterday, this week, this month, this year. But if you're looking for very specific information for very specific demographics, which remember Steam has your demographic information, then that's exactly how you would get it, and that's exactly how you would use it. Coupled with the fact that the Steam launcher is probably on almost every gaming computer out there because of Fortnite, they have access to a massive amount of information. They're data mining, clearly, to pick their exclusivity deals. But then to make this statement and turn it on its head and say, "Oh, we're actually the good guys here."
Like, hey, we're okay with playing nice as long as you guys are.
Yeah, right. We're down with the proletariat, you know. I mean, come on, really. And this happened right after the story of the crunch time was hitting. So I think thinking about these two in conjunction is very interesting to me.
Hey, look at my left hand. My right hand's not over here jerking off. Look at my left hand.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because Tim Sweeney says he's very interested in getting these the more money into the hands of developers. Yet he's treating his own like trash.
Yeah, no doubt. It's like you have no problem like subjecting your employees to those kind of work conditions, but yet you're all for the common good of gamers and business.
Right. I don't know. That's my 2 cents on that subject.
Well, I got one more thing here for Epic.
Oh?
So, our favorite factory building game, Satisfactory.
Right on.
I came across this tweet from their main Twitter account. And it says, "If you want to be a criminal, and steal the works from 30 people who spent 3 years of lives dedicating to making Satisfactory, all because you didn't get your preferred launcher, or you can be an adult and just move on and play something else. Your choice. This was
talking about piracy.
This was a reply to someone saying, "Oh, Steam or the Pirate Bay, your choice. I won't give Epic a damned penny of my money." So people are like pissed off at Satisfactory and Coffee Stain. What is it? Coffee Stain?
Coffee Stain.
Coffee Stain Games for putting their game on Epic. And so, it's like Epic or Satisfactory is pretty much, or Coffee Stain's pretty much coming back and saying, "Hey, if you want to go and steal our game just because you don't like the fact that we're on Epic, I mean, yeah, it's like,
yeah, I'll be honest. Back in my teens, I may have more dubious circumstances. I'm not going to say that I haven't done that. I may have. I may or may not have. Right. In all cases that I have heard or experienced that the game is either buggy, self up to viruses. So I would definitely say, like, just from a personal note, don't do that.
Right.
But having gone through school for game development, I can tell you that gave me. I've never worked actually in the game industry, although I have done some programming. I can tell you right now, these guys work hard for their money. It is absolutely theft. Obviously it's theft. From the term piracy, but I got a whole new outlook on after I went through that.
Right.
And there's no way that I would personally condone it at this point. No. No, for me, it's all about the game. All right. If I want to play Satisfactory, I'm just going to buy it off the Epic Store, or I'm going to wait a year when it becomes available on Steam. Those are your options if you want to play Satisfactory right now. Take it or leave it.
Right.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah, like, I could honestly, like, I feel bad for people working at Epic, but, like, honestly, there's other jobs out there. So if you want to get another job, you can always leave. It's not like they're, like, handcuffing you in the basement, right?
Right.
So it's like, it's not that I don't feel bad for those people, but it's like, if there's a game I want and it's being sold by Epic, I mean, I'm going to go there and buy it. I mean,
yeah,
I'll go there and buy Borderlands 3. So
you have already, right?
I've pre-ordered on the PS4.
Okay.
I haven't pre-ordered the PC version yet, so I'm thinking about it, but
Gotcha. Satisfactory is an interesting case because it was one of the first that went exclusive, right?
Right.
When Satisfactory released in early access, I was lucky enough to get a second CD, CD key, but I was lucky enough to get an extra key to unlock it. So I decided, I had already purchased the game,
right.
So I decided, hey, this is perfect. I'll give it away,
mm-hmm.
right? I had people specifically not enter that contest when I was running it because they did not, even though it was free for them,
right?
They did not want
to go through Epic to get it.
They did not want to go through Epic to get it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the hate out there is real for some people.
Yeah.
Me personally, business is business. I mean, Epic is doing what's best for their business.
Right.
That's what we do. I don't have to agree with them, but if I want to play that game, that's where I got to go.
Yeah, it's like you won't give Epic a couple dollars for a game that you're going to play and enjoy, but you're going to, like, vote for Trump? Come on. Come on. How can you do one thing and not the other?
In fairness, there was some of the folks that did not want to enter the contest were actually overseas, so they don't get to vote for Trump anyways.
Damn. Shots fired.
Yeah, I know. Shot you down. All that. No, I don't know. I stay away from the politics on my stream, but
same here.
Yeah, I just think that it's obviously a personal decision whether you want to use the Epic launcher one way or the other. Yeah. I personally don't want to. It's just necessary evil. If I'm going to stream that game or if I'm going to play, I got to go through it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to, you do it. If you don't, you don't. I mean, I'm not going to judge people who don't do it. Like, it's up to you guys.
Right. Right on. I don't know of any other news that's worth even talking about this week. I'm sure there's something out there.
Yeah, nothing worth our time, I don't think.
No, our valuable time.
Nothing worth our valuable seconds.
That's right. That's right. Hey, are you still watching a little One Piece?
One Piece. I'm knees deep in One Piece.
Knee deep.
I'm knee deep. So, are you guys finished now, or are you still going? Are you on your break, or?
No, we're still going. We're still going strong.
What town are you at?
Finished the Davy Bag fight.
Shit. So where are you now exactly?
Well,
how far after that fight are you?
I don't even. Oh, we're probably another 15 to 20 episodes after Skypea was done.
Have you gone to the memories?
No.
Okay, the memories stolen? No, nothing like that?
No.
Okay, so you must have just finished the Davy back and then stopped right after that?
We did. They said, "Oh, we're going to go find it." They sailed off, and that was the end of that episode. So, and that was I watched that right before the shit show last.
Oh, you cut out there, but you said they're going to go find a shipwright, right?
Right.
Right, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so they head off to find a shipwright. There's another couple episodes, and then I'm a couple more episodes after that.
Okay.
So maybe 5 or 10 after you.
Yeah. You finally passed.
I finally caught up, yeah. It's so easy having them on my phone. Because I can watch them while I'm at work and whatever, so.
Well, the wife and I have been watching it using the Crunchyroll app.
Right.
TV. So, yeah, we've got the HD versions all on there. So we've been watching it. She's still loving it, which I think is fantastic. And it's funny. I'm actually wearing this shirt now. I bought a couple of shirts the other day, and one of them is Ava Zero from Evangelion.
Right.
Old 90s.
Right, yeah, I've heard the name, yeah.
Anime. And it's probably one of my favorite animes that I've ever watched. And my wife was asking me about it, and she's like, "Oh, that sounds kind of interesting. I might watch that too." I'm like, "Really?"
She's hooked.
I've opened up a door. You don't.
Yeah.
You don't
next thing you know, she'll be cosplaying, and she'll have the bunny ears on, and
I don't. I don't see that happening, but she's definitely interested in maybe expanding her anime horizon.
Nice, that's awesome.
Of course, Evangelion is going to be one of those where, after the first or second episode, she's like, "Are they fighting God?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Hey,
and she's going to be like, "I can't watch this.
Why?
This is ridiculous."
They did it in One Piece.
Right? Yeah.
Right?
Fought God. Well, that was the title, his position, right?
So I want to talk to you about that. At the end of that plot line, he plummets to the ground. Now,
who? Eneru, right?
Right. Now, if I'm not mistaken, did he not come up and you think we're going to see him again?
I don't know.
You see how that ended? You know what I mean?
Yeah. He sailed off in his fancy flying ship.
Right. Almost like he was going to get the feeling we're going to see him again someday.
Yeah, but there's been other pirate captains that we've seen from time to time that Luffy walloped back in I don't know, I guess you'd call it season 1 or
yeah, Arlong and stuff. But I mean, Buggy came back, right?
Yeah, Buggy's still kicking around. He's in the Grand Line.
Yeah, you got to think that all these people that did him wrong, that he destroyed, are going to want to come back for their comeuppance at some point.
I'm sure they will.
Especially 800 episodes deep, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's remember us? It's
not
really.
Yeah, I was just curious
at the what Luffy's going to say too.
Yeah.
He's not really.
Yeah. Didn't I beat you up once?
Right.
Yeah, just the way that ended, I thought, oh man, this guy, I bet you this guy's going to show up again. Just the way he kind of, how he got destroyed and all his plans got foiled. And
he might. It's very possible. Although, I haven't seen anything on.
Hello?
So it's
Hello?
been a while since we've seen Buggy.
Are you there?
But yeah, I'm here.
Okay. You cut out there for a couple seconds.
Oh, weird.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
It feels like we haven't seen anything on Buggy for a while, but in reality, I don't think it's really been all that long in terms of like time.
It's hard to keep track, eh? Like, how long... Sometimes they'll kind of give you an update about, it's been this long since we've been here, but...
Right.
You don't really know how long it's been since they've been traveling from island to island sometimes.
Right.
Because Buggy came back there for like a couple episodes, right?
Yeah, we've seen a couple of episodes with him.
Yeah.
But not really much recently. I'm sure we're due for a Buggy update at some point.
He was... I like him. He was a pretty good character.
I liked him.
I like his power. His power, too, was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, the... what was this?
Like chop or something, or we can like
chop.
Yeah,
chop fruit.
Even the one they just went against, the Foxy Pirates.
Yeah, the Foxy Pirate. Oh, with his slow time.
Slow, or whatever it's called. I love every fruit's just like the two words put together and like duplicated. I've got the gum or the slow or the chop. Right. I got the dong fruit. Right.
But what's intriguing me about it is that there's different types of devil fruit.
Yes.
Right? And I'm wondering if they're going to get into that lore a little bit more.
Yeah,
because
I don't know. They must.
They have the transformative type fruits.
Right.
I can't remember the names of them.
Paramecium.
One Chopper ate.
Yeah.
And there's the type that Luffy ate, and then there's the type that Eneru ate, which
is like the elemental type, right?
Right.
Luffy's like the paramecium type,
or whatever.
Yeah, I went down this whole YouTube rabbit hole a couple weeks ago, and videos of them explaining, the three types of devil fruit, and then the subtypes, and then oh my god, it's like a good hour video of this guy explaining devil fruits, and I was like, wow,
that's okay.
Because normally,
somebody is taking it.
Because normally Chopper and his type can only transform into like three types, right?
Right, but
three forms.
He's figured out a way around that.
Right, when he uses that rumble ball, he can do up to like 7 or something, right? So
that he knows of.
Right. His best one is that huge fur ball he does. it's like his head and then a bunch of hair.
Yeah, it's so funny. Man.
Yeah.
He's so
I need to get a shirt with Chopper on it.
Oh, Chopper's one of the best characters.
I told my son I was going to bring him to like the next Comic-Con that comes to Toronto or something. And I told him he would dress up as Luffy because he's like kind of like scrawny and got that kind of...
Yeah,
I told him
Luffy build.
Yeah, we'll get my 2-year-old to dress up as Chopper. And then I need to find some fat guy for me to go as.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I really like Chopper because Chopper is like, he's basically a little kid.
Oh, he's so adorable, man.
But if you think about it, and this is one of the things that I really like about One Piece is that if you think about it, that would be if this was real, I would expect a reindeer that ate like a human fruit and turned into a walking person to act like a child because that's essentially what they would be. So I guess to me it makes sense.
I mean, depending on how old they were. If they were a reindeer, like at the end of their life, I mean.
But I would think even a wise reindeer still know very little about human world. He would probably know.
Still be like a child to humans, like.
To humans, yeah. But in his world, he would be the guy to ask, if I ate this leaf, is it going to make me sick?
Yeah.
In reindeer world, he's the elder wise one.
Right.
But
just his like the way he's like when he's kind of faking his emotions, but yet his body like totally shows them like I'm not happy, and like he's swooning and stuff. And he's like,
he's a reindeer.
He's so funny, man. Or when he goes to hide behind something, but instead of hiding his body and peeking his head out, he hides his head behind it and has his whole body exposed. Right. Oh, man, he's so cute. He's so awesome.
Chopper's awesome. Yeah. All right, man. I think that's gonna do it.
Yeah, let's wrap this sucker up.
Right on.
All right, man. We'll catch you next week.
All right, we'll see you next week.
All right, later, everybody.
Goodbye. All right, man. Well, if you've enjoyed the Dreadcast, thank you very much for listening. You can catch Dreadnought on Twitter and Twitch at DreadnoughtX. You can always catch the Dreadcast Twitter feed itself at the Dreadcast. Or we're also available on Facebook.com/the Dreadcast. You can find us pretty much anywhere podcasts are downloaded. Google, Spotify, Spreaker, any one of those will work. And of course, my name is Jovia, and you can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Jovia. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great afternoon.
Nicely done. Have a good night, everybody.
Oh, wow, Chopper. Between your medical skills and talking to animals, you've got some amazing talents.
Don't be silly, you jerk. Flattering me like that isn't gonna make me happy or anything.
He sure looks happy.
Hey, what did you mean about Chopper's medical skills anyway?
Well, Chopper here is a doctor, and a first-rate one at that. Dr. Correja taught him everything there is to know about medicine.
Impossible. Chopper, are you seriously a doctor?
Oh, cool.
No way!
Really, Luffy? If you didn't know that, what did you think Chopper was when you asked him to join us?
A talking, transforming reindeer monster.
Backup food.
Wait, oh no! I was in such a big hurry, I left my medical bag behind. It had all of my tools in it.
Your bag? But isn't this it?
Huh? That is my bag.
It was in the back of the sleigh.
How is that?
What do you mean? Weren't you the one who packed the sleigh and got it ready for the trip? That's amazing. Dr. Rean must have known what you were planning to do even before you had decided to leave the island with us. What a kind woman.
Oh, I got snot on the chopstick.